Hey guys, so it's our fourth day on the kitchen. The kitchen's pretty much finished. It's ready for the stone templators, but today we are throwing the flooring down. So I'm hoping the stone blokes don't come today. I think they're booked in for Monday, because obviously if we're laying the floor, we're taking decal panels off, which we've basically already done. So obviously, as you know, that one is glued to within an inch of its life and is never coming off, so we'll have to multi-tool the bottom of that. But we have taken that one off, and that one off, which are there. We've taken that one off, which is up there, and we've taken that one off, which is over there. That one we'll have to trim in place because it's too much to take it all out. Same as that one, that one. That one we could potentially take out, but I'll get to that when I get to it. I'm not too concerned about that one at the minute. It's a minor issue. We are sailing our floor through to potentially that threshold bar, which we have got to take off. But because this threshold is slightly higher than the actual tile, we're only insulating it or laying the underlay up to it. That way then we don't get a lump, and it'll be pretty much a smooth transition. And I've got a ramped profile that's going to go across there in its place. So that's got to come up. We started laying the underlay. Now this is a foil backed one, so it creates like a damp proof membrane. So what I've done is I've tagged it just where the feet are with some gaffer tape, and I've gaffer taped the foil down so that it doesn't flap around. That way then when we do our next full run, as far as we can, we've got two rolls of this stuff, one there and we've got another one there. So what we do with that one, we'll roll it right up to that oven, move all that flooring out of the way, and we'll underlay as far as we can, leave that on the roll, and then we can patch that in there. And obviously we're going to have to cut and do some bits around here, which is not a major issue. Got to use the multi-tool on those. So yeah, we're just going to underlay as much as we can, floor as much as we can, try and finish this section with a piece going through the middle. That way then we can then get the oven back in, the washing machine back in, get the fridge in. Ricky's already pre-cut some bits of skirting, so there's one there and one there. So basically once the floor's down, those bits of skirting can go on, glued and pinned, or just glued, whatever the case may be, and then the appliances can go in and we don't have to pull them out again. So that's the general plan anyway. It's going to be a long-winded day. I'll do as many videos as I can. This is a laminate floor, as you've seen in the other videos. It's a click-clock laminate, it's about a 10mm thick one. So it's all got to be cut with a miter saw, which is set up out there. Let's get stuck in and get the rest of this underlay down as much as we can, and then we can then start laying and working out where our floor is going to go. See you shortly. Okay, so this is a bit of a funny video today because there's only so much you can actually show when it comes to laying these laminate floors. Now this is, as I said before, a 10mm laminate. It's all click lock. It's pretty straightforward. What I always do is get a couple of boards in first, work out obviously where you're going to start. I done me measuring and it worked out pretty much perfect with a half decent scribe on the right hand wall down by the patio door, so it looked pretty good. So it's just a matter of just getting stuck in really. Get those first few boards in, make sure they all join nicely, all stick together nicely, and then just use a rubber mallet, tap them together, do your cuts as I've shown you many times before, and then just start laying them down. Just take your time. I had to take that one back out. I actually cut one a bit short, but it wasn't an issue. I was able to reuse that board further down the line. But again, it's just stagger your joints, maximum of a minimum of 100mm. I always go over 100mm on my staggered joints, because if they're 100mm or thereabouts, they look too close and it looks like you haven't made an effort. So make sure you stagger your joints thoroughly and just keep plodding away, and eventually you'll get the floor finished. It's quite straightforward. I'm just cutting all the decal panels down now, so I'm just scribing them. So literally put them the right way round, then flip them upside down, mark the bottom at the top of the unit, and then cut it, flip them back over so the cut edge is on the floor, screw it back on, and you get such a nice finish. I'm just making some modifications here because I put the washing machine valve on with a straight one, and then realised it's too close to the old socket that's behind the wall.
the one that we blanked off and extended through on a ring main, on a spur, sorry. So I took that straight valve off and put an elbow one on. That way then I can connect the washing machine a lot easier. And then once I've done that, I've done the oven side. We're now going to get the oven back in, get that connected up. It's a twist lock gas hose, so there's no soldering, no real bad connections, anything like that. So it should be chained to the wall, guys. Make sure your ovens are chained to the wall when they're gas like that.
So we are flying away with the flooring. We've worked out roughly how the cuts are going to be. I didn't film it because we just got stuck in. We worked out we'd come off the feet and we was able to go pretty much underneath that architrave without any problems. We can go through that architrave without any problems. It's stopping here with a threshold bar, a ramped profile, so we can literally cut a piece in there later on, and we better do the same there, cut a piece in, because that one won't sail all the way through. We'll just sail it through to sort of roughly the end of the door frame, and then the other one can tuck in and it'll all look seamless. So that's perfect. We've already done inside the washing machine area. We've multi-tooled under that decor panel, because obviously this is all glued. That one's now been trimmed to fit. The oven's, Ricky's wiring the oven back in. That's been trimmed to fit, that's been trimmed to fit. We've gone underneath there, so that's all looking pretty. Not worried about the dishwasher. We're only doing those areas. One, it helps put weight down on the floor, so obviously for moving, and two, clears that area. So as soon as Ricky's done what he's doing, we can look at getting the washing machine carried over and just put roughly in place. I've still got to plumb it in, but it can go in place roughly. And then I can then start looking at doing my radiator pipes, which is the next board to do really. And with these, to mark these out, I'll show you how we do these. It's quite easy. To mark up around your pipes, all you're going to do is you're going to lock this piece in there, like so, and you're going to mark centre of pipe, and then what you're going to do, because you need to measure the centre, but you don't measure off the wall, what you'll do, let's unlock that, and then lock it in here, like so. You'll put that in there, like that's how it's locked in, and then you're going to measure from centre of pipe to the edge of the board, which is about 13.5, and you check that at both ends, and then you measure back from this edge, from that point, you're 13.5. So that's centre of pipe, so I'll do a straight line across there, that's centre of pipe, straight line, centre of pipe, and then you'll do a 18mm hole. Even though it's 15mm, you need to have expansion and contraction, so you do an 18mm hole, and you'll cut a triangle out. That triangle will then slide back in with a bit of glue afterwards. A nice clean finish, and I will show you what I mean when I go and do this board now. We've transferred our line, so we've got our centres. Now we can use, I'm actually going to go 20mm, just to give me a bit more room. That's our two holes. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to put number 1 on that one, and number 2 on that one, and then we're going to cut a V out either side of this with a jigsaw, just like that. So that's our V's cut out, so then we've got to keep those bits of V. It should look something like that, and then the bits of V should slot back in, and you just put a bit of glue them in, and that should be all lovely. They may need a bit of trim, but it's not the end of the world, but just glue them back in afterwards. Done. Glued them in like that. I like to get either a wax of a similar colour, just put some wax into the joints just to try and hide the joints a little bit. Done. It looks something like that. It's not a perfect invisible line, but it just takes the eye off it. And that's how you get around your radiator pipes. So we now need to multi-tool all this out, bottom the door frame out, and around the back there out, so that we can sail our flooring through. So we're going to use the flooring upside down to create a thing for multi-tool to sit on, and then we can multi-tool that out. And there we have it, fully multi-tooled out now, so we can sail the flooring all the way through. So I say we're only going to come through to about here. So this piece here will be clipped in, and then we will mark it up. So first thing we want to do is put our cut line where we can butt to it. Now don't forget, this has got to be a full length, because we need to have the joint on it. This is just an example at the minute. So we can have our joint here, so we can knock our bit in to join it on. And then obviously we've marked it here, so it's going to go just under that door frame. So we're going to square that out now. It's basically going to be so that it's inside this line. So you're going to come to this point, mark it. Now what I like to do, I'm going to cut that out first, because we will also need to do another little notch potentially, just to get it round the brickwork. So we can cut that out first and then see how we're looking now. But I've got no way of working. I need to figure out how this is going to line up now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use an offcut and we're just going to tap it under just for the minute, and then I can see how much more, if any, needs to come off it. So we'll see what happens when we knock this in. Underneath the architrave, we're under the door frame, we're under the doorstop, and we're nicely under there. So when we do this piece, we just cut a little bit out, and that'll knock in a bit of glue, and that's perfect. So I've got to put a piece in there, and that's that end of the floor done. We're under the door frame, lovely. So we can now carry on sailing through with our full lengths, and then we can work our way in there. So we've gone under there, that skirting's not fitted yet, it's just pushed in. That one there, we just cut a chunk out and was able to put it in, tap it and slide it through. But this one, because we've got to get under that and under that, the only way we're going to do it is to effectively slide this one in first and then put that one in second. So what you're going to do, I've got to change this, it's damaged, but you're going to take the locking piece off of this with a chisel. Let's just change that board. So all we're going to do now is use a chisel, and we're just going to carefully, and I mean carefully, use the chisel to just take that little locking piece off there, so that we can slide the board in. And we're going to do that on this piece all the way through to that mark. Okay, so we've took off just that little lip so that the board can slide in. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put our cut board in first. I'm going to literally slide this in, 2 seconds. So let's get sliding that in like so. And we'll get a little block, which I've got here somewhere, there. That should lock that into that one, a bit more. And a little tap down. So that's that one locked in, and because we've cut that off, we're going to say the same thing again, this one. So. And eventually it will lock in just like that, and then you can tap that end and that's it, done. So lock back in, and we can just sail through there, finish in there, get the fridge in, and just carry on laying floor.
And this is the last bit of time lapse. As you've seen me doing all the cuts here previously, I'm just finishing off here now, getting that last bit in, and then we can then get all of the all the boards in under the fridge freezer. And then once I've done the bit further down towards the patio doors, I can then bring the freezer in, get it in place. Ricky's just running back and forth, doing all my different cuts for me, waiting for me to mark a board up. It just means I don't have to keep getting up and down, which is, at my age, is a bit of a killer on the old back. So if I can stay down on the floor, happy days. I should have a knee pad, yes I should, but me being me, just get stuck in as I always have. Ricky's going to glue all these in now, so he's going to glue all these bits of skirting in up at this end so that we can get all the appliances back in, get them finished. I'm now outside just doing a few cuts, just going to do around the side door here. There's a door here, so we've got to do a little bit there that needs to be worked in. I'm just cutting around another radiator as well, because there's 2 radiators on this wall, one either side of the door frame. So I'm just going to do the same technique as I showed you earlier, drill the hole, cut the V out, trim the V down, and glue it back in. And now I'm just finishing off the floor. We're so close to the end now. I am getting to the point now where my back is starting to give up. You know, what you just saw me there, what I'd done, I used some flooring upside down, and we used them as skids to slide the fridge up off the underlay, or across the underlay, then up onto the laminate floor. and then it had wheels on it, and we had to just wheel it across the floor, carefully turn it and slide it in and plug it in. So the freezer's in. I'm just sorting out the washing machine valve now, because I've decided to get that done now while Ricky's doing what he's doing, because he's starting to work on skirting where he can. And then once the valve's done, we will then look at getting the waste pipe threaded through, which I should have done this before the oven went in, but it is what it is. So we're threading that extension hose through, right through to the sink, so that I can connect that to the new trap, which I will do shortly. And then once I'm happy, just adjusting the feet while the worktop's off, make sure that it's all solid and there's no rocking on the machine. Because if you don't adjust those feet and there's a bit of a rock, when that goes into a spin cycle, it will shake the hell out of the kitchen. So now Ricky's just adjusting some electrics on the oven, which I will then check later. Just reconnecting that back up so they can have their oven back up and working. I'm just going to finish flying through this flooring now. I'll say pretty straightforward. Get this flooring finished, and then I will do the waste for the sink. It's really hot today, guys. Not really sunny, but it's humid and I'm sweating and I'm uncomfortable. Can't wait to get home. It's Friday. So what we decided we're going to do, we're going to get the floor down, get the waste connected on the sink so that they have a working sink so they can pour water down it, get the washing machine plumbed in so they can have some clean clothes for the weekend. Ricky does make a start on the skirting, but he comes across a couple of issues he's not used to, because this floor's pretty much all over the place. So there's a bit of scribing to be done on the skirting, so I decided to give it a rest, and we'll come back to that. We're just going to get the floor finished and then call it a day. So Ricky's now having a bit of a tidy up while I just throw these last few bits of flooring in. Backfill where I haven't done yet. I've still got to do where the dishwasher is, and I'll be totally honest, I forgot to do the couple of cuts by the double doors where the camera stand is, but it's not the end of the world. I can slide that in on Monday, as I'll explain later, put the threshold strip on, and then that's all finished as well. So once you've got the main run done and you've done all your awkward cuts, this stuff just goes down so easily. I do prefer the LVT in a kitchen, because if you have a leak on this stuff, even though it says it's moisture resistant, if you have a bad enough leak, it isn't going to survive. And I have advised the client of that. It's got the last few scribes to do. I'm going to try and help Ricky with the skirting, and then we both look at each other. We're both hot, we're both bothered, and we both decided, enough's enough. So you can see him there plodding away, trying his best to get the miters right, but the corners are so out. He ends up getting stressed out over it, because he's not a carpenter. He's there just to help me, basically, and I try and teach him, but I've also got to have the time to teach him, which is the hard part. So I'm just going to throw these bits in here for the dishwasher. Now the dishwasher is integrated. The only reason I've put those bits of flooring in there is because the last thing you want is when you go to replace the dishwasher, you have to lift it up and over the floor. So by putting some flooring in there, the dishwasher will slide in and out easy enough if you ever need to make any changes or replace it at any point or service it. So I'm just future-proofing the kitchen now. I'm looking at the skirting now, trying to see where he's gone wrong. I've had to make some changes, but I'm getting stressed out now myself, because obviously I've just finished the floor and now I'm trying to sort the skirting out. Clients just checking it all over. They're very happy indeed. They can't wait to get this kitchen up and running. But yeah, now it's time to have a good tidy up. And before I do that, I'm going to get underneath here and I'm going to connect up the hob. Sorry, not the hob, the sink, so we can get the washing machine all connected. So that's what I'm just doing now. Couple of elbows, putting it onto the Mac Alpine trap. That's got 2 double spigots. We've capped one of the spigots because that's for the dishwasher. Because the last thing you want is to throw a load of water down the sink and have it come out the spigot, and then it'd be all over your new floor, all over your new cabinets, and that's what you've got to be careful of. So just always double check that you've capped everything that needs capping before you play with water. I haven't even turned the mains back on yet because I've nearly forgot to do that as well, but I'm just throwing water down it now. Realize there's a hole in my bucket, so I'm now having to mop the floor up and dry that, make sure that's thoroughly dry, because the last thing we want is the floor getting damaged. Rick is going to flow around with a hoover. I'm happy now. Put the drawers back in, and that's us pretty much done.
So we're done. Floor is done, apart from 2 pieces which we've got to do on Monday. These 2 pieces, but we're going to let the floor settle, put those in, put the threshold strip in. But otherwise, skirting's on there, fridge is in. Washing machine is in and connected. We put the waste pipe in and connected it and capped the dishwasher one so that it won't overflow. It's all been checked. So they've got a working washing machine. Dishwasher will go in Monday. Plinths and skirting will be finished Monday. We've done some skirting here and there, but we just want to let the floor settle, make sure there's no issues over the weekend, and then get that skirting under that step there. But yeah, she's looking nice. Just carefully put our tools in here for now so we don't damage the floor, and then we'll take them all out Monday and they'll be gone then. Monday we should be finished. Bit of skip silicone here and there. The templators are here Monday, so they will do their templating, and then we'll arrange to come back and finish off the last few little bits. Oh yeah, and we've got the cornice to do on the larder units behind me and on the units that go here, but they've got to sit on top of the worktop, so we'll do that when we come back. But other than that, it's another day done. It's Friday, I'm going home. See you on Monday. Don't forget, like, share, follow. See you soon. Bye bye.